Thriving in divorce and beyond means not having to worry about the safety of your children when it comes to co-parenting. With alcohol abuse on the rise, many co-parents are turning to the system committed to providing proof, protection, and peace of mind. SoberLink's alcohol monitoring system is the most convenient, reliable, and reasonable way for a parent to provide evidence that they are not drinking during parenting time. SoberLink's real-time alerts, facial recognition, and tamper detection ensure the integrity of each test so you can be confident your kids are with a sober parent. With SoberLink, judges rest assured that your child is safe, attorneys get court-admissible evidence of sobriety, and both parents have empowerment and peace of mind. Pull back the curtain on the mysteries of parenting time and trust the experts in remote alcohol monitoring technology to keep you informed and your kids safe and secure. To download the resource I created with SoberLink, Divorce and Addiction, A Guide to Move Forward, visit www.soberlink.com/Susan.
Coming up on today's episode of the Divorce and Beyond podcast.
An initiation is you're going to go through something that who you were and who you are when you come out is going to be very different. And you don't know how long it's going to be. And immediately you have to become resourceful.
Hello, and welcome to the Divorce and Beyond podcast. I'm Susan Guthrie, your host. As a top divorce attorney and family law mediator for 30 years, I know what you need to know to get through your divorce, and most importantly, how to move beyond it to thrive and transition to your new future. My experts and I are here to give you the insider view into the process, so listen in for the wisdom and expert information you need on your journey through divorce and beyond. Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Susan Guthrie, your host. And listeners, I have a special treat for you today. I was just telling my guest for the day that she is the very first person that in 5 years of having divorce podcasts, she is the first person who is in the midst of their divorce as I am talking with them and, having her share her insights. And her name is Hillary Rubin. For those of you that are on Instagram, you may have been following her. I've been following her. She puts a lot of great videos out there that really, I think people are really connecting with. And I think that it is one of the reasons that I really wanted to bring her on. She has sort of a unique background that makes her, able to have a high level view of what's happening in her life while she's living in her life. And that's a unique trait. It turns out she is a coach. She was a coach before she became a stay-at-home mother, and she's getting back out into coaching. So she is a master coach, and that's really, I think, given her some life skills that have let her, again, process her experience and be able to express things about it in a way that is going to be helpful to you. So first, we're going to be talking about the divorce initiation with Hillary Rubin. Hillary, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you so much. And I just love your energy and I love what you've been doing. And yeah, like just talking before, just saying, hey, you're the first person in 5 years. So I feel very honored and very seen. So thank you so much.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate your being willing to talk about what, you're in the moment in many ways. Still, you mentioned you're about a year into your divorce process itself. It's still going on, like any other divorce. It's got its, I assume, its ups and downs, but you have, really taken this opportunity as you're living the experience to pull so many really important insights about the divorce process. And you're calling it the divorce initiation, which I think is a really great name because it's very descriptive, right? Nobody goes into a divorce process. You can have a coaching background. I was a divorce attorney going into a divorce, right? You'd think I'd know until you go through it. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what the process will be like. And so you are in that moment still of processing things, but you're also along the road. So what made you, or has made you, because I mentioned you're on Instagram and you share some insights there. And I know you have a program and a variety of different ways you're connecting with people. What made you want to connect with others going through this experience and share?
We have signed, so the paperwork is in and done. And I just want to clarify for listeners, we were separated and living under the same roof for 3 years, basically. It was right before the COVID situation, COVID divorce. It's my journey as a coach, as a teacher, as everything that I've done in my life that was a challenge became something for me to help others with, right? So the whole thing of me becoming a coach, and I was a coach trainer too, because I had a coach training business that came from yoga teaching. And I had a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, which got me into yoga, which got me into teaching. It is part of who I am as a person, of helping people. And it's how I heal, is helping other people, right? So that's what got me there. And I was working, I was in a Mel Robbins coaching program, and it was really healing. And I wrote an ebook that has not been published yet, but 17,000 words in 40 days.
It just flowed right out, right?
Right out. And it was just clarity, because in order for me to process and go through this process, I was married for 17 years or 16 years. I needed to process it. And it is how I process it, is being able to look at it from the different aspects of spiritual aspect, a business aspect, which divorce is both of those, and marriage, is a business and a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you've really, one of the things that really impressed me about your clarity of thought on what can be a very difficult and tumultuous time and topic is, you've really thought it through. You've pulled out some, what I always call to my listeners, the golden nuggets of experience, of wisdom to share. And you've sort of packaged it under this title of the divorce initiation.
To me, I see divorce as an initiation, reframing it. And that's really what my work is. My work is, how do we change the narrative, right? So that's really the forefront of my work is, well, we got to change the narrative. I'm calling my ex, with, air quotes, co-parent, because it plants a seed for them for another relationship to happen, right? When that's going to happen, we're figuring it out, right? You're dealing with personalities, and egos. So that's what makes it hard. So the biggest thing for me was to flip the script and to change the narrative on each of these pieces so it was digestible, because otherwise it becomes completely overwhelmed, and you're basically just getting the fire hose of an experience, and then all kinds of things can happen.
Right. Well, and something you just said there really resonated. I want to point it out, because, even changing a word or a designation, a name, a title, whatever we want to call that, but from X, my ex, to my co-parent, shifts the narrative. And as you said, and this is very poetic, I love the way that you said this, it creates the opportunity for a different relationship or a new relationship. And you don't mean like a romantic relationship. You mean creating this new parenting, co-parenting relationship with your former spouse, whatever, with your co-parent. And I think that people in the time of divorce, especially in that process, we've talked about this as we were getting ready for the episode, is they feel so out of control and they feel like this is all happening to them. Yet one little shift like that, which we have utter control over, can make all the difference, right?
100%. Everything, not sending the text and engaging. Yes, I'm guilty, because there's going to be waves. I immediately just knew, because I'm very insightful and I'm a poet, words and everything. And it just, all of a sudden I just went, this is an initiation and meaning. And I just want to say, an initiation is, you're going to go through something that who you were and who you are when you come out is going to be very different. And you don't know how long it's going to be. And historically, initiations that were tribal, you didn't go through this alone. And what happens is people go through this alone, and based on religious ideas or they feel ashamed and they just hide everything. And that's not me. I just openly talk about it. And the things that I've been sharing, on Instagram were nuggets, like you've said, and just things to consider, right? What you can control. And if you're freaking out, and immediately you have to become resourceful, but not everybody has that. And I realized for me how I moved out and what I did, because I chose to move out. I made decisions for my son, and he's my North Star. So there were things that just kind of happened, and I just kept noting them because that's just how I moved through the world. And I would help friends of mine and talk with them, and I still do. And when I spoke with them, this is back to your first question, I went, oh, when I help somebody else, I feel better. And I went, okay, let's just do this. I'm going to go for it, and it's going to work or it's not going to work. And if and I had to do something. And at the end of the day, for all of you listening, action is always going to move you forward. Sitting and mulling about it and getting stuck into some nefarious activities, drinking, smoking, or whatever, because you don't want to deal with it, it's normal. However, this is how I do it, is I throw myself in understanding. And how can I make this better for me? And then if I can do it for me, I can help someone else. So that's just a little insight for those of you that are listening through the initiation, right? It's like everyone has different scenarios. No two divorces are the same, right? Whatever happened, whoever brought it, what have you, right? Where I am now and how our relationship is not what I had a vision for, because I can't control what the other person thinks, right? So it's understanding what you do have control over, which is more than you might realize, right? And how you respond or your triggers are important too, right? Know thyself. That's one of the chapters in the ebook.
Well, and a very good one. And
but it hasn't happened yet, but we're working on it.
Let us know, because we will link to it once it does, and we'll put it right in the show notes, or we'll do another episode, a prologue or an epilogue. But, you said something there that I think I wanted to hone in on again, because, it was very profound. So you said, that you are being conscious and that you're, don't engage or don't send that text or whatever it is. And then you said, but hey, I'm not perfect. There's a phrase in AA, progress, not perfection. I mean, you're not saying to anyone out there, right? You're always going to choose to not engage. You're not going to set a foot wrong. Only your co-parent will make mistakes during this process. I'm going to bet, because I know I did during my divorce, you've done things, said things, engaged in ways that you probably wish you could take back or do a different way at this point. And you have
100%.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, forgive yourself and everyone else. That's the thing that I say. I mess up but here's the beauty of it. When you mess up, instead of, you can beat yourself up, but have just a very short time, look at it and go, oh, wow. Right. Because whatever behavior is happening with your former person, the person you're divorcing, your co-parent, that happens in your relationship. And guess what? That happens again and again and again. So in order to get on the other side, right, or moving towards the other side, is paying attention to that, right? Because here's the thing, within an initiation, just think about it, right? You're going to go through painful, hard stuff. I don't know. I'm not one that does ayahuasca, but I can only, or sweat lodges and all that, which are kind of like initiations, like your part of you is dying. You go through something grueling. And you know what? The diamond only gets taken from huge pressure. So trust me, I am not talking about perfection. I mess up all the time. I mess up with my son as a parent. My mother was divorced. I came from a divorced family, and there was a lot of pain, and, and I have my control issues. There's so many things that this is such a beautiful opportunity, painfully beautiful, to step out and give yourself grace and look. And it's important to have a coach, whether it's a divorce coach or a career coach or, a general life coach, that allows you to come back to you, because you're you're going to, and if I'm wrong, but most likely be like, what am I doing now that I'm alone, right? Especially if you have kids, and who am I and what do I like? It's like the whole, what kind of eggs do I like? Whatever, the Bride movie with Julia Roberts. And I'm just going, well, my coach said to me, well, what are things that you like to do that are creative? And I'm like, that's a great question. I used to love a lot of things, but guess what? Part of it is the things that you used to love and the life you were, that you left or moved, or you're moving from, wherever you are, you're going to have these memories. Memories pop up all the time. And it's like, know that, so that when they come up, you have something that supports you, right? So that's where a coach comes in, and getting tools and having that. And I do, right? So I had things where I would text my friends in the beginning of this. I would text all my friends saying, hey, this is one of the hardest things I'm going through in my life. And I don't want to dump on you all the time. However, what I do need is X, Y, Z. I'm going to need you to check in on me to say, hey, are you okay? I'm going to need you to ask me to do play dates. I'm going to need to know that I can leave my son there if I need it, right? And this is something that is before I moved out. Hey, this is what I need. You have to reach out to connect and stay connected. Don't sit there, or you can, right? And like wallow in, I'm alone and I have nobody in my life. No, you need to activate that. You need to be the fire starter. And guess what? You might surprise yourself. You feel like crap, you help someone and you feel better. It's kind of like that. So this initiation is for you to become the person you're becoming, right? And it's going to be tricky and hard. And I'll tell you, I'll be really honest, you guys. Everyone be like, oh, I'm so sorry for your divorce. It must be so hard. And I was spiritually bypassing this. I was like, oh, it's fine. I created it. I decided this. This is on me. And then like after a few months in, I was like, this shit's effing hard. All of a sudden, I just realized, whoa. And then I had regret. And I'm sharing this and being transparent because my honesty and transparency is my medicine in some way. Is all of a sudden I went, I must have made a mistake. I need to go back. There's no turning back. Pieces of papers are signed and there's lawyer fees that are paid, there's no like, are you going to take me back now? And it's like, I can't put the baby back in the, where the baby came from. So it was a wake up call, right? Now, this isn't to scare anyone. This is just preparing you, because to go through any initiation, it is nice to have someone who's a few steps ahead of you, that's close, that's like, oh yeah, I know. And this is what I would have done differently, could be the magic thing that sets somebody in that way. So yeah, for whatever that is worth, it's like, it's painfully beautiful.
What a great phrase for it. For those who are listening who are like, that makes no sense to me at all, I will tell you as someone on the other side and many, many years beyond, but I think it's the perfect phrase for the process. It is painfully beautiful. It may be hard to see, but that's one of the gifts, I think, of your being able to be eloquent and thoughtful where you are today. Hi, listeners. I wanted to let you know that the Divorce and Beyond website is a great place to visit if you're looking for more support and information as you move through your divorce and beyond. We have links there to all the latest episodes. We have the full show notes and links from the most recent episode. There's a sign up for the weekly newsletter, and we have lots of freebies and downloadable resources for you. We even have a divorce topics page where we have broken down the episodes by topic so that you can find the episodes that are on point to your issue of interest. There are pages on episodes on financial topics, children and divorce, high conflict divorce, and more. So visit the website at divorceandbeyondpod.com and find exactly what you're looking for. Stay tuned for more from Hillary Rubin, master coach and divorcing mom, who shares her insights and lessons as she goes through the divorce process. This is real, in-the-moment information to let you know you are not alone.
I know that those that are listening, you have fear and there's the unknown and there's pain. when you can step out of that and have an awareness of looking over. If you have the pain and this horrible thing, you can ask that, what is it I need to learn? What is it that is coming from this right now? Because going through the pain and asking the pain what you need is going to help you discover your values as well.
If you are enjoying this episode, be sure to check out last week's very important show featuring a special replay episode with America's and Divorce and Beyond's favorite parenting coach, Christina McGee, as she shares her top tips for keeping the holidays happy for your kids, even through these challenging times.
What's most important to me about this holiday? Where am I feeling uneasy? What am I stressed about? Because let's face it, the holidays are stressful, period.
And now we return to today's show.
So often when you talk to someone like me who's 30 years down the road from their divorce, or however many years I am, it's a lot. It's harder to connect, right? Because those feelings, I'm with people every day who are going through those feelings. I understand them intellectually, but I am well removed and far onto the side of seeing my divorce as a gift, a painfully beautiful process, more beauty than pain at this point, right? Because I'm so far beyond it. And so it's a gift for you to be able to talk from the painful place, still starting to see the beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, is it, it's interesting because I don't know if I would, it's painful, but the painful part is my kid. The painful part is loss and it's like, and so I just want everyone to know, like, whatever you're experiencing, honor it and respect it and get curious about it. And that's the thing is, like, I have these 5 mindset shifts that I had to make. The thing is, this is speaking to somebody, all the people who are further down the road, like, okay, you've been there. And they're like, oh, you're going to land on your feet. And I'm just going, thank you. Like, what I need to hear is you're doing a great job. You're taking the steps and you're showing up. The validation and also, hey, here are some resources, right? You need to get a job. You need to, and so for me, my beautiful strengths and who I am in the world is allowing me to move in the way that I did, and friends of mine were like, hey, I think you need to help people going through this. I'm like, I just had to figure out how to move out as a stay-at-home mom and rent a place and manifested things, getting woo here. It's really important to take action and then follow the breadcrumbs. And knowing that your lawyer is on your side, if you have a lawyer, a mediator, and always just notice, because the emotions can really get big. And that's the whole thing of that I didn't do perfectly. And the emotions get big. And for me to save my sanity, I would talk to different people who just were a few ahead of me, and yet culturally we're a little different. And I needed to lean on it, but there are some things that stirred the pot in a way that I would have done differently. And everybody would say that. I think every divorce, people would be like, I would have done this differently. And that's part of the initiation, right? That's part of like being able to laugh at yourself. And it's part of like understanding that divorce, and this is one of the things I'm going to give away, is it's a spiritual practice and it's a business deal. And hopefully, I'm fortunate, as tricky as some emotional things are, the business side of it, we figured out, and I gave a lot away because I had to. Like, I was just like, you know what, like, I can't, like, I'm not into the fight. So yeah, so that's kind of it,
I think that's a lot. And it's what makes this conversation, I hope, so relatable for those who are out there and listening, and, that you're sharing the journey and the things that have helped. I know that one of the things, and I think this is really important for people to understand, and I think, again, with your yoga background and all, you had some help in maybe finding this clarity, but you said that finding peace and calm, finding that place of calm was really an imperative part of the process for you, finding it however you may find that or define that. And I just would love you to dive into that a little bit more for people, because it can be so incredibly hard to find peace and calm in the midst of this process.
Well, there was crying and there was pain and there was wailing and it was music. And big part was instead of smoking cigarettes, drinking, and feeling bad for myself, I have to continue to work out, right? I have to wake up when the sun wakes up and put my feet in the grass and look at the sunrise, right? Looking at the sunrise and setting my body up for my circadian rhythms, right? Health has always been a priority for me, right? What I eat has always been a priority for me. And understanding that I have to be my best self the best I can, but also be human. And so finding the peace and the calm was actually sitting with the pain and sitting with this, whoa, right? Because in the beginning, it's like, oh, I'm out. And it goes in this waves. And so giving yourself grace, moving your body and doing the things, little things. I mean, literally cleaning my house calms me down, right? And for some people, it's opposite, right? That they can't even do the laundry. I mean, I run my dishwasher when my son's here twice a day. Like I run my dishwasher, I use my washing machine. Like I don't like folding laundry, but there are things that I do knowing what I can control, like control the things you can, like we're getting into the prayer, the AA prayer.
Yeah. Right.
What is it called? The serenity prayer. I know that those that are listening, you have fear and there's the unknown and there's pain. When you can step out of that and have an awareness of looking over and just, if you have family, I didn't have people to turn to help me. So it's more of, if you have the pain and this horrible thing, you can ask that, what is it I need to learn? What is it that is coming from this right now? Because going through the pain and asking the pain what you need is going to help you discover your values as well, right? I value connection. And I'll share. Mine was, this initiation is me by myself right now. And I need connection. And I realized connecting in relationships like you and I connected make me feel good. It's also part of my strength, right? One of my strengths is about that. So for me, me knowing that I need to reach out for connection, and then the pain, it's there, but I know that I'm doing something to it. It's almost a salve. And I know that I got the gift of this is my value. This is a value. Now I have more self-awareness. When you take every step of the way to go, what can I learn and what can I get and what is here, right? Being grateful for it all sometimes can be very spiritually bypassing. Like, I'm grateful, however.
Thank you.
However, you can say thank you, because that's what another friend of mine was like, just say thank you, right? Because I don't know, the spiritual, your spirituality, your God, whatever it is for you, your ancestors, I'm not giving a blanket way of doing it, is use the pain and turn it into medicine. And what is it you're getting from it? Right. So that is probably my biggest thing that I've always done in my life. And there were moments that it was really rough, right? And all different things, and have a team of people that you can lean on, that people that, whether it's Chinese doctor, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, know that there are people who care about you. And by you, again, reaching out on, hey, I need help, or I need this, and being resourceful. I mean, one of the greatest resources for me that I must share, if I may, is joining, and I think it's only in America, because I don't know where your listeners are, but the Buy Nothing groups on Facebook, because financially, the money, whatever, can be an issue. And you're like, oh, I need things for my kitchen, or I need Buy Nothing groups. You get stuff. There's free stuff. People are helping you, boxes, whatever. Like, there are resources out there that you are not stuck with nothing. And that, I just giving a little bit of hope of understanding in your initiation, there are people that are around to help you. And that is going to be maybe going to the supermarket, which is my happy place, is shopping for food and farmers markets. It always has been. And I go, I smile, I say hello to someone, I connect. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't feel alone, right? Oh, I'm connected. And I'll tell you, in the beginning, Susan, I told everybody I was going through a divorce. Everyone. I was like, oh, flea markets or thrift or whatever, yard sales. because I had to get stuff, and I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'm going through a divorce, and people are like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. I had to connect and share because I was opening to the heart of humanity and looking for the heart of humanity to show its heart, its space, which is a thing that I talk about. Because at the moment where you can believe or think that nobody's there to help you, boom, it's there. And then you get to be that for someone else. So you listening to this and you get something like, I'm that heart of humanity for you. And you making it through this and doing this for yourself, for your kids, is going to be a gift to yourself. And I know that's something I knew from the beginning, and I always knew, if I may say.
No, well, and you know, I don't want to leave this episode without talking a little bit about that fact that this is a gift for you and your child. You mentioned earlier, and I think this is a very powerful phrase, is that your child is your North Star. Really, this is at a very high level, everything is about him. And I know that that is something that many parents can resonate with, right, that are listening to this. But I know also, having spoken to you, just how truly you've tried to live by that as you've moved through this process, through that concept of it all being, you know, guided by what's best for him. And I just wonder if you could leave us with a few thoughts at a high level. Obviously, I don't want you to talk about him in particular, but how having that North Star has been helpful to you.
Keeps me in check. It keeps me from speaking positive about his father, which we have to anyway. You know, I'm never going to say anything bad about his dad. It allows me to understand that less is more, right? And being there. And gosh, you know, women feel guilt. I feel so guilty and bad because children don't have the choice in saying, I don't want you to move out. I don't want the divorce to happen. And I apologized to him. I said, listen, you know, I know this is hard. And I sought out therapy for him. You know, there were things that I did. I mean, I did not do them perfectly. I can be there's a lot that, you know, that I had to move through trigger wise as a parent because of my past and everything. So the North Star is, before you send that text, would this be something like, do I want to start this? And even in the relationship with the co-parent, I'm always, what's best for our son, not my son, not your son, our son, right? This is the narrative of he comes first. Birthday parties. We ended up doing it together, but we had a nasty whole thing that happened before it. However, I had to swallow the frog or whatever and just say, okay, let's do it. Right? I had to go through with it. But it was because I was part of like a women's circle and they were like, you know what, you got to do it. Like, just suck it up. Did I hear thank you? Did I get any of that back? No, that's an expectation. So at the end of the day, you're teaching your child how to interact. Do the best you can and use it when you're going to do something. Use it when you're going to make a choice of something that might, hey, is this the way, is this something that would be something that I'd be supportive if my child was doing? You know what I mean? Whatever that choice might be, whatever you're doing, you know, is how am I going in the highest here? And what is best for him? Because children can be used as pawns. There's all kinds of weird things about the clothes and their stuff. I'm just like, you know, like really, you're going to get, you know, it just can get so tedious and horrible. Just take that breath and just don't say it. Don't do it. And if you mess up with your kids, repair, repair, repair. And what I've learned from a therapist is when an adult parent messes up and they come back and repair and show their children that they have human beings and not perfect parents, there's so much that they get. And yeah, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it is that. I mean, there's a lot of cool mindset shifts that I share in my 5 mindset shift training and it's a simple little read and there's an audio and I talk it and unpack it a little bit more, plus a really sweet meditation, which just can really help unlocking those feelings that you have, because there's a lot there. And so I just want to let every listener know, like, I get it. I see you. And I wherever you are, like, you're not alone.
No, well, and I think the gift that you've given to everyone right now is that they know that. If they are listening to this episode, I mean, you are sharing what so many people are feeling. And yes, you may be a few steps along further, but I think that's what really is hopeful and lets people know that they're not alone. And you mentioned your training. I want to make sure that people know how to get that and just how to get in touch with you, and also your Instagram.
So my Instagram is Hillary Rubin, and it's the @HillaryRubin. There's 2 L's there. There's tons of stuff there. You can say hello, connect with me. HillaryRubin.com, and that's HILLARY Rubin.com. All right, well, you can grab and go directly to the training page, and it's HillaryRubin.com/free-mini-training, or you just go to HillaryRubin.com and you'll see there's a clarity session if you'd like to get some clarity on your next steps. And it's really great to have someone talk to you, ask you certain questions so that you can kind of just zone in and get some clarity for your next steps. And so that's there for you totally. You can fill that out. And then there's the mini training. Yeah, that's kind of it. And then Instagram, reach out, say hello. There's tons of content there for you to take in, and know that this is happening because it needed to, right? It needed to, I guess. I mean, I don't really know what else to say.
And maybe there is no answer.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is your initiation. I just want to share one huge thing is I had this moment of great trust. And in my relationship, there was no trust. And so without trust being there, part of my initiation was having somebody else trust me. Whatever wasn't happening in your marriage, there are other people in other situations that will show up for you to heal that and understand that however you are seen by your co-parent or however you would like to look at them as, that does not define you, and that you will see it will show up in the heart of humanity, the next step for you to heal the parts of you that are feeling unhealed.
So thank you so much, Hillary. I will have links to everything in the show notes, listeners, as always, so that you'll be able to find all of the resources that Hillary has talked about. And do go follow her on Instagram, because she is always sharing these little insights as things go on, and just continue to follow her journey. As you can see, she has a lot of wisdom and a wonderful way of being able to share that with us. So again, thank you so much, Hillary, for joining us and sharing your initiation and your thoughts on the process as you're here. And we hope that your journey continues to move forward for you and take you to that beautiful beyond that we always talk about on this show. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me today on the Divorce and Beyond podcast. I hope you found some information and inspiration to help you on this journey. Please join me every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a new episode. And if you like the show, please take the time to subscribe and leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. You can also find more information on the website at divorceandbeyondpod.com, where you'll find links to the YouTube channel, transcripts of the episodes, and other bonus content. So I'll see you next week to help you move through your divorce and beyond.